according to the court, it's still hearing all sides of the argument. The opposition lawyers have completed presenting their arguments, but the government side is clearly taking its time, and the court has adjourned for today.
Is the government trying to drag this out, do you think?
Well, certainly its critics have argued that that was always the intention, playing for time, much to the exasperation of opposition parties, and really worrying because, of course, the longer this goes on, the worse it is for the country, both politically and, of course, in terms of the larger constitutional crisis. I mean, do remember that, there is effectively no government. There is an interim prime minister, Imran Khan, who was, of course, denotified as the official prime minister yesterday. So he's an interim prime minister. And his cabinet is no longer working either. So the country is in a state of limbo at a time when, of course, it's in a parlous economic state, and its relations, particularly with the United States, is rock bottom.
You've described this as the greatest constitutional crisis that has ever faced the country. What are the options as to how this might play out, just given the description you've given us?
Well, on the face of it, it can go both ways. I mean, either the court decides that what happened on Sunday was a clear breach of the Constitution, a blatant violation, and then decides that, in fact, the no confidence vote, which Prime Minister Imran Khan decided to block on grounds that it had been orchestrated by foreign powers, namely the United States, should go ahead. That would, of course, constitute a defeat for the Prime Minister. On the other hand, the court might well decide to legitimize that action, and even so, then decide that, elections should go ahead in the next 3 months. And this is really what the Prime Minister, Imran Khan, is after.
You talk about the fact that that is his last-ditch bid, but he is a fairly unpopular Prime Minister. Would he be re-elected?
Did you say unpopular or popular? Sorry.
Unpopular.
Unpopular. Well, look, I mean, he's certainly unpopular in Parliament. I mean, he doesn't have a majority in Parliament, but, his appeal across the country still remains quite considerable. I mean, he is playing with two very strong political cards, which resonate, amongst voters in Pakistan. One is, of course, the anti-America card, and the other is the pro-Islamic card. And his brand of populist politics, roping in these two aspects, as I said, resonates with a vast section of Pakistan's electorate. So I think the jury is still out, and I fear that even if he is for some reason disqualified by the court, which is by no means certain, his brand of politics, is likely to endure.
Critical to any Pakistani Prime Minister in recent times has been the support of the military. What role might we see the military play as this crisis unfolds?
Well, I mean, Imran Khan's election as Prime Minister in 2018 was marred by controversy and speculation that, in fact, it had been made possible as a result of support from the military. Now, in recent months, that closeness between the two sides, often referred to commonly as being on the same page, that is to say, both the civilian elected government and the military, working in conjunction with the other, that cooperation has frayed. It frayed over really two issues. One was Imran Khan's attempt to block the appointment of the Director General of the Inter-Services Intelligence Services. And that, of course, is something that the military has always wanted to guard jealously for itself. It's regarded as a military appointment, although, of course, constitutionally, the head of the Inter-Services Intelligence is accountable to the Prime Minister. So that brought him headlong in a clash with the military. But the other point is, of course, as I said earlier, the parlous state of the economy, and for which Imran Khan is, of course, being held responsible by the electorate. But because his government was seen to be so close to the military, the mud thrown at him, some of the mud being thrown at him, is now sticking to the military. And that, of course, is not a good thing for the military.
Yeah, interesting factors playing out. Really good to get your analysis. Thank you so much.
Thank you.